right, so welcome to what we're calling permanently, temporarily, Friday nights in the library. I'm Michael Rains, this is Matt Freeman and Bruce Kim, and Michael Coleman's behind the camera. We'll have others that'll come in and out, and we live in South Korea. We work at an international school, our family works at an international school in South Korea, and we just want to be able to get together and talk about culture, geek culture, nerd culture, and our language and get excited about it. So this is kind of an excuse for, at least for me, to tell my wife, hey, I'm going to go shoot a video, and basically I'm shooting the YouTube video, but I'm also getting to share my geekdom, my passion. And so we're just going to do that with you. And tonight we're going to talk about Star Wars 7. Start by simply asking you, what is your connection with Star Wars? What brought you into this world? So Bruce, you could just tell us, I don't know, why do you like Star Wars? What draw you to it?
I was born in Ohio in 1968, and Star Wars for me was my introduction into geek culture. And then I got into comic book collecting, and after that, it just took off, and that became my lifelong hobby. And it continues to this day.
You can tell by all this stuff here. This is Bruce's.
This is Matt's.
This is Matt, my bad. So, Matt, what about you?
I was born in '73 in Canada, and so I saw Empire in the theaters with my family, and it was actually the first movie that I ever saw, and yeah, it was everywhere. We were playing it in school, like for kindergarten, playing it outside, smashing up ice, pretending we were on Hoth. And then I saw Empire Strikes Back with my dad after my parents were divorced, and I just remember I was really emotional. We were both excited to really see it, and yeah, it was really. Also, I guess that and reading the early Marvel collected editions, they're both of those things were sort of my gateway drug into this world, if you want to put it like that.
I guess mine's kind of similar to yours in a way that it was kind of a family thing. So my dad wasn't around much. He was always working. And so what we shared in common was basketball and really weird sci-fi movies. On Sunday mornings, we would get up, before we go to church, watch Doctor Who, the old Doctor Who's. Mm-hmm. And so when Star Wars came out, it was kind of my connection with him. Right? Because he was traveling 3 or 4 days a week, and so he was at home all the time. So he would come home and we would watch Star Wars, and then I'd go to my grandparents' house and she'd have these giant laser discs, and I didn't want to go listen to them talk because it was boring, so I'd watch Star Wars again. And that was kind of my introduction to the Star Wars culture. So what we're going to do next is just talk about the trailer. I watched it. You two are working today. Well, Bruce is home with me, I guess.
Homework.
Yeah, homework. I was cleaning dishes, so I watched it about 30 times again just to get ready. What were your first thoughts when you saw it? Especially after, well, I'll just say it, the disaster of 1, 2, and 3. What were your thoughts when you saw it? So.
It was very emotional for me. The music again, and then when the Millennium Falcon comes out, I guess that was in the second trailer. Yeah, the Millennium Falcon comes out and flies out. Yeah, it was. I like the second trailer better than the first one. Yeah,
I think you hit on the key there. One of the things that I missed when they did 1, 2, and 3 was the music. When I was watching the trailer today, I just kept going back to the music over and over again. Even the one that wasn't connected with 4, 5, and 6, the new music just sounds more like Star Wars to me.
After the first trailer, I was very hopeful. I didn't get that emotional reaction sometimes you see on YouTube videos. You see guys our age crying.
Yeah.
I didn't get to that point. I almost reached that point in the second one with Han Solo and Chewbacca coming out and saying, "Chewie, we're home." I got pretty emotional. I didn't cry, but I felt it. And then after that, I thought, oh, that's cool. Finally, we get a shot of the TIE fighters in daytime. You see them coming out of the clouds like that scene in Apocalypse Now. Yeah. And that's it. That's the stuff I miss. And I have to tell you one thing. I rewatched Phantom Menace yesterday. I rewatched it to get ready, and the thing is, I turned off the sound. It was just the visual, and it's a beautiful movie.
They are.
Every single one of those. I mean, I would put on Attack of the Clones, and I would turn off the sound. And it's very visually.
specifically the girl, I automatically. Oh yeah. There's some interesting ones.
What the heck? Let's hear 'em.
Well, because, all right, so I think it's the TV trailer where they're talking about the eyes. Because I thought it was, because my first thought is Han, and that's where I get the Han Solo Princess Leia, because it says your eyes, and it goes from hers to his, to Han Solo's
Oh, okay.
eyes. And I'm like, oh, okay, so that makes sense.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Interesting. What do you think?
There's a lot of talk about the absence of Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
His presence in
That's
the
what I'm
movie
excited
posters, the advertisements, and the trailers. I don't know. I have no ideas.
I sent you that blog article of that guy who had all this speculation going back through 4, 5, and 6, saying that the original edition, the original vision of Return of the Jedi, being called Revenge of the Jedi, was supposed to be a lot more dark, and at the end, possibly that Luke was going to be joining the dark side more explicitly. So, yeah, if they and he shouldn't go, and he's too angry. I don't know, I've almost built it up to myself now that I feel like I'm going to be a little bit disappointed if he's not a villain in it now, even though it's also sad, of course, and tragic, but I just think it would be really a powerful plot element to have that.
They've done a good job building him up, right? Like if you go back and you watch, 4, 5, and 6, you do see this darkness come out.
Yes.
Right? And there is a character, and like you were saying that, and dawned on me, like I never connected with him when I watched the movies. I like adventure, and part of it is because Indiana Harrison Ford most,
Sure.
but the more I think about it, I think it's because of that struggle that's within him. Like in my mind, as a little kid, I could see myself never truly figuring out what side Luke is on, even as he kills Vader. It's like, oh, okay, so now is he just going to take over? Like
Yeah.
that struggle becomes, as you were saying, that struggle becomes a little more real for me. It kind of explains why I didn't connect with Luke as much as I did the other characters.
Whereas Han Solo's on a different arc, right? Like
Right.
he starts dark or a little bit, just self-serving,
Yeah.
right? And then he comes and ends up joining the fight.
You kind of know where everyone else is,
Yeah.
and he's the one guy you don't.
Yeah, it's because he's conflicted right to the end.
Yeah. All right, so here's my question: who's the hero? The obvious
It's hard
answer
to say for sure, but yeah.
for sure. I mean, the obvious answer is the girl. What's her name? I know that sounds weird to ask. What is her name in the movie?
Finn?
Yes, Finn. And the
Yes.
obvious answer is Finn. But do you really think it's her? Could they just be leading us on? I mean, this is Abrams. He is known to throw a twist in there.
Yeah, there could be the twist, yeah.
I love the idea of a stormtrooper losing that identity and rediscovering himself. It's sort of like the story of Luke from Episode 4. Poor farm boy, and he becomes this focal point for this toppling of the Empire adventure. So for me,
It's true. And either way here, it's going to turn out to be a different hero, right? Like the first one, it's a white guy that looks like him. And this time it's either going to be a girl or a black stormtrooper,
Yes.
right? That are more than likely going to be the heroes. And I kind of like that change. What do y'all think?
Yeah, it's 2015. It's good that they're
It's about time.
portraying more diversity, for sure. Yeah, and then also, I was just thinking back to what you were saying, Bruce, about the stormtrooper paralleling sort of Luke Skywalker's rise, and the analysis that Joseph Campbell does in The Power of Myth. I don't know if you read that. Yeah, just how the mythic symbolism that's in it of, somebody rising up in the hero's journey, and how perhaps that would be, it'd be more, the stormtrooper would do a better, would fit that better, I think, as opposed to if Finn is the child of Han
Princess
Solo
Leia.
and Leia.
Or if she's a twin, she has an evil twin brother.
Yeah.
One of the ideas I wrote about.
Well, I mean,
Oh, okay. So then maybe the twins again, and then one of them is evil. Ah, okay. I haven't heard that. Interesting.
what I'm most excited about the idea of a stormtrooper or a girl in the black and white scenario we have going on here is this idea that that's going to open up more possibilities, right? Like it's not going to be your standard hero arc that you see in most of these adventure movies. Like I loved Guardians of the Galaxy. It was one of my favorite movies of the past few years. But once again, it kind of goes to the same arc. Here's a big muscular white guy who loses his mom and discovers he has these secret powers, and he's figuring it all out. And I like having to come through the understanding of someone that's different, right? Like if it is a petite woman or an ex-stormtrooper who happens to also be black instead of white in this world, where there's not a lot of black people, then that's going to add a different dimension to his journey.
Right.
Or their journey. All right. So what do you think about Abrams?
I like his stuff for sure. Yeah, Star Trek was pitch perfect. I think his reboot.
I love Star Trek. I was disappointed with Khan Into Darkness, and I was a little bit apprehensive about trusting the entire Star Wars franchise with the Star Trek guy. Because to me, those are two entirely different quadrants.
Yes, that's
one
true.
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and another one, a couple hundred years in the future. So having the same person helm both, but
It's too much responsibility.
yeah, not that I can think of anybody better to do it.
Yeah.
But what I like is his storytelling. And what I'm hoping for here is that because they've told him it's a certain set of movies, I feel like he does better with parameters. Like in everything
Lost,
he
he did a
does,
TV
yeah.
show.
Like everything he's done.
Didn't have enough limits.
Right. Like at the end, it kind of got wonkers because there wasn't someone there to put the limits on it. But I feel like with this, there's going to be someone looking over his shoulder and say, okay, here's the story. You tell it.
Yeah, right.
Which I think is what he's going to be good at. And if you look, the difference between the first one and Khan in the Star Trek series is, I think he got to play more with Khan, and then he tends to. I don't think he does as well with that. I think he does really good at telling a specific story, but I don't think he should design the story that he tells.
Right.
And so I'm kind of enjoying that aspect of it. Like I don't feel like he's. I feel like he has. I don't feel like he's in charge of the story. He's in charge of telling the story. If that makes sense.
Is Abrams signed on to do episodes 8 and 9?
I'm not 100% sure. I think so. I want to say yes, but I could be wrong. Yeah.
Tweet him.
Well, yeah, and then also the apprehension about Disney doing it too. It sounded like when at first the Disney was buying them, and then I don't know, just I was actually pretty apprehensive until I saw the first couple of trailers, and then I was feeling more excited about it and hopeful.
You know what made me quit being apprehensive about it? That scene where Finn's coming out and she looks up and there's the one moon and she's looking over it. And I'm thinking back to the first one when Luke at the end of when he gets too far and he
The
comes
twin
back
sons, yeah.
and he sees the twins, and it's the same scene. And that's one of the things I like about Abrams is he tends to always be able to incorporate he shows reverence to the past.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
He did that in Star Trek beautifully. We're going to see the movies in the next few days. What is your expectation going into it? What is your predictions? And for me, I'm worried that they're going to have a third Death Star. That's my big concern. I'd rather not go through another Death Star and see another fight scene where a fighter comes in and just blows the Death Star. So what are you most excited about, and what are you worried about?
All the speculation with the villain. I'm excited to see what's going on with that. That's what I've been thinking about the most, and just that whole story arc of Luke Skywalker and where it's going to go next.
I saw Phantom Menace the first time in Korea, and I thought I had missed something, and so I had to see it again during summer vacation when we went back to Toronto. And I realized, no, I didn't miss anything. I saw what I saw. And it was a bit of a disappointment, and I know I'm not going to get that now. I have a pretty good feeling this is going to be the biggest movie of all time. The pre-ticket sales, the pre-opening ticket sales have exceeded $100 million so far. That's the first time that's ever happened. And it's probably going to be the largest movie of all time, more than Avatar, more than Titanic, which were also Christmas movies. And I'm just glad that they're still making Star Wars movies.
I think
Happy.
I think that's it, man. I think in the end, I just want to see an adventure.
Yes.
Right? Like we're talking about why I liked Guardians of the Galaxy a couple years ago, because it was just an adventure.
Yes.
And when I saw this is another. It's just going to be an adventure. Like
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like with all the superhero movies coming out, I have some sort of an idea, right? Like I know how the story is going to go. Here, I like the speculation of not knowing. Like I'm a book guy. I like opening a book and having no idea what's going to happen when I get to the end, right? And then, and for me, a lot of movies now, I already know. I already have some idea. And I really don't know. You know?
Yeah, adventure, no speculation about how the Force works inside blood vessels or blood cells, like the Phantom Menace.
Yeah. No midichlorian counts.
Midichlorian
please.
counts.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. There's no need to get that technical.
Thanks, guys. That's it for our talk about Star Wars. We're going to try to do this again about other movies.
After we've seen it.
Yes. Oh, we'll definitely talk about it after we've seen it. And then we'll try to... We've talking about Spider-Man, Superman versus Batman, and maybe the Civil War that's coming up, and a few others like that. So hopefully you enjoy this.
And Guardians of the Galaxy should have had the Nova Corps at the very end.
Yes.
Flying. All their ships were destroyed when they made that big golden net. And,
Yeah.
The accuser comes through it, and all the ships get destroyed. They should have been able to fly out of those things because they're human rockets.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. And that's your spoiler for next time.